Deep in the Kurnool district of Andhra Pradesh, the Yaganti Uma Maheswara Temple has stood for centuries. It remains one of the region's most significant spiritual sites. While the temple itself is stunning, the primary draw is found here in the courtyard. A massive, dark, monolithic stone Nandi rock is actively growing. The physical evidence of this expansion is undeniable. Over the generations, the statue grew so large that temple authorities had to remove a structural stone pillar just to prevent the rising monolith from collapsing the roof. We are witnessing an active physical phenomenon, a stone that has transitioned from a static carving into a changing, expanding mass. This growth aligns with the Kalagnanam, a collection of ancient prophecies written by the saint Potuluri Veera Brahmendra Swamy, often called the Nostradamus of India. The texts contain a chilling prediction. At the end of the Kali Yuga, the current age of conflict, this stone Nandi will awaken, break its bonds, and let out a roar to signal the end of the world. As the statue continues to expand toward the temple walls, the local community views the growth as a physical validation of the prophecy's timeline. This observable countdown has prompted geologists to investigate the specific mechanics of the stone, seeking a scientific explanation for how a carved monolith can stay intact while increasing in size. Scientific teams launched a rigorous investigation to determine if the growing stone was an optical illusion or a unique geological event. They identified the material as Charnockite, a rare rock type mixed with silica-rich limestone, which possesses a specific internal chemistry. The temple's location is the catalyst. Sitting adjacent to steep cliffs and natural springs, the air surrounding the statue is constantly saturated with moisture. Charnockite is porous. As humid air and spring water wash over the Nandi, the stone acts like a sponge, drawing moisture into its core through chemical weathering. Once absorbed, these minerals react and expand, forcing the stone to increase volume from the inside out. Typically, this kind of extreme internal pressure would cause a rock to shatter. The anomaly here is that the Nandi expands uniformly, maintaining its carved shape as it grows. Geological measurements have quantified this rate of growth at approximately 1 inch every 20 years. Projecting that rate over the 5 centuries the statue has sat in this damp environment reveals a massive cumulative increase in the statue's total mass and volume. This raises a question about the 15th century builders. It is possible they intentionally selected this reactive stone because they understood its capacity for growth. While geology explains the chemical process of the expansion, the builder's choice suggests a level of architectural foresight that bridges the gap between material science and tradition. To understand the intent behind the construction, we have to look at the macroscopic layout of the temple itself. In yogic science, Nandi represents prana, or life force, and is defined by a state of absolute stillness and receptivity. This role requires a precise architectural alignment, placing the Nandi directly in the path of the energy emanating from the Shiva lingam in the central sanctuary. This placement allows the Nandi to receive the vibrations of the temple. By choosing a stone as porous and reactive as Charnockite, the builders created a structure that would physically retain and react to the environment it was placed in. The physical expansion we measure today is the result of that intake, a 500-year record of environmental and ritual history stored within the rock's expanding volume. The engineers of the Yaganti Temple created a space that does not merely sit on the earth, but actively interacts with its surroundings. The Yaganti Nandi remains a rare example of a site where measurable chemical expansion and ancient prophetic tradition occupy the same physical space. As the growing stone continues to absorb the deep moisture of the caves and the cosmic energy of the temple, it draws closer to the boundaries its builders set centuries ago. Science has mapped the internal mechanics of the stone, but only time will reveal what happens when the statue finally reaches the end of its timeline.